All right, with all the major pieces in their new homes and opening day right around the corner, let's get into who I think had the top 5 best off seasons this year. First and foremost, welcome to Cleats Up Baseball. My name is Dom. I'll be doing tons of these little video things. We're also going to be doing a podcast every week. So if you like what we're doing, drop us a like, hit that subscribe button so you can hang out, see what else we got going on. All right, number 5 on this list is a team I feel got better and was smart with their money while they were doing it. They're not necessarily going to blow the doors off of anybody, but they are significantly improved from last year. And that, of course, is the Minnesota Twins. 2 big moves right off the bat for Minnesota. One of them is extending Byron Buxton rather than trading him. That's a smart move. Guy batted .300 last year. He's got a Gold Glove. He can do both of those things consistently. Helps you out on both sides of the ball. It's a great guy to have in your clubhouse. Number 2, of course, anytime you sign who is arguably the biggest free agent in the class that year, you had a great offseason. Carlos Correa comes to the Minnesota Twins, $105.3 million over 3 years. That short contract with the opt-outs after 2022 and 2023 is huge for a number of reasons, and one of them is you get Carlos Correa on your team. Number 2, in the event that the team's playing poorly and he's having a great year, you have one of the best mid-season trade pieces come the deadline. And that's a great way to set yourself up for a productive future if you're Minnesota. And of course, the other big move they made, which I think was very smart in their opinion, was moving the aging Josh Donaldson and getting his contract off the books, shipping him to the Bronx. You got Gary Sanchez, who's kind of a liability behind the plate, but if he's a DH and all he's going to do is hit bombs, that's not a bad deal. And then you have a young Gio Urshela, who in my opinion was somebody that I don't know if the Yankees should have let go, but he's coming to Minnesota, and I think he's going to make the Twins a lot better for it. In addition, you trade for Sonny Gray, pick up a couple other pieces here and there to make your pitching staff better, and the Twins aren't in bad condition at all. Okay, number 4 on this list is what I would consider the sleeper and is the one that's going to drive everyone that watches this video the most insane, but in my opinion, the Seattle Mariners had a heck of an offseason. Similar to what I said about Carlos Correa and the Twins, anytime you add a legitimate stud, the AL Cy Young Award winner in Robbie Ray, you had a great offseason. Bring in Sergio Romo to help lock down that bullpen. Added to a team who didn't even have great pitching last year and won 90 games. The Seattle Mariners had a great offseason. But it doesn't end there, of course. We shift offensively. They bring in the All-Star Adam Frazier, one of the best contact hitters in the game last year. Bring in Jesse Winker from Cincinnati. My goodness. And Eugenio Suarez to be a potential bounce-back player of the year at third base. This add some serious power to this ever-changing Seattle Mariners lineup, who was 22nd in the league last year in runs, but is obviously young. They got a lot of decent potential. They got, I'm wearing a Mets hoodie, so I'm going to have to mention Jared Kelenic, who's going to break my heart because he's going to be good. If he got traded from any other team, he wouldn't be good, but he was traded from the Mets, so he's going to be a stud. Look out for Seattle. That's a division that's going to be kind of rocky this year, so feel free to go ahead and lock them in as a legitimate contender to win that division. Coming in at number 3, pretty much just for one reason, and one reason alone, would be the team that I think now has arguably the best middle infield in baseball, and that, of course, is the Texas Rangers. Yes, for $500 million, they brought in Corey Seager and Marcus Semien basically all at once and gave Texas arguably the best middle infield in baseball. They're going to be unbelievably productive at the plate. They're going to be super solid in the field. Added to some other fun young pieces they have, such as Adolis Garcia, who was an all-star technically last year. And then you bring in John Gray, who is a hard-throwing pitcher and will no longer have to deal with playing at Coors Field, which is a nightmare for any pitcher, of course. And again, as I previously mentioned, I'll get it right eventually, the AL West is going to be an absolute mess. So Texas could be a legitimate contender, especially if they get hot at the right time. Maybe at the deadline they're close to make a move to bring in another arm. But the Texas Rangers, in my opinion, had a great offseason, and that is why they are number 3 on this list. Number 2 on this list, obviously lost some big pieces, but they did a great job filling those holes, and that is going to be the Toronto Blue Jays. Obviously, they lost the aforementioned Robbie Ray, but they did a great job filling his shoes, bringing in Kevin Gausman and Yusei Kikuchi to lock down that rotation. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch those guys, bringing in Garcia to help out with the bullpen. Obviously, they also lost Marcus Semien. However, they bring in a couple guys that I think are going to help kind of replace his pop in the lineup, and that's obviously Matt Chapman. Chappie's a stud at the dish. He's solid in the field. He's arguably the best player at his position in Major League Baseball. If you ask certain people, I tend to agree with that. He's a stud. He's going to mash, and he's going to do everything you need him to do. And then Tapia, obviously, is not the prototypical guy to come out of Colorado. He doesn't hit a ton of bombs, but he's a great speedster, solid glove, good contact hitter. Add those two guys to a lineup of baby Jays that have absolutely mashed, and you got something special going in Toronto, especially considering the fact that the division is going to be an absolute gauntlet. Toronto had a great offseason. Look out for them to have a great regular season. And at number 1, here come the boos from the peanut gallery. Call me biased, but it is, in my opinion, the New York Mets. And that's for a number of reasons. Number 1 is the obvious. You bring in Max Scherzer. Age to this guy doesn't matter. He's still one of the best pitchers in baseball. And in addition to that, he's an all-time clubhouse guy who's going to help out Jacob deGrom and the rest of that rotation. Oh, by the way, they added Chris Bassett. That top 3 in that rotation is filthy. You add the possibility of Carlos Correa having a bounce-back year. Taijuan Walker is a legitimate all-star. Kind of fell off the end of last year. However, lock down that rotation as being absolutely sick. Bring in Adam Ottavino to help out with the bullpen, a bullpen who is lacking lefties for some reason, but is still unbelievable, especially if Edwin Diaz does what Edwin Diaz can do. The Mets pitching staff is unbelievable. Obviously, Jacob deGrom is Jacob deGrom. You name it, they can do it. Starling Marte is an absolute stud. The guy looks like a Terminator, helping out in the outfield. Obviously, he's supposed to play center field. They've had him in right. They'll figure that out. Him and Brandon Nimmo will make it work. As long as he stays healthy, they'll be good to go. Jeff McNeil is starting to look like Jeff McNeil again. Contact hitter, going to get on base ahead of Pete Alonso. Hopefully Francisco Lindor does what Francisco Lindor is supposed to do, absolutely mash and just be nasty in the field. And along with everything else the Mets got going on, the Mets had themselves one heck of an offseason. Will they win their division? Who knows? But I think they are night and day better than last year. And that's it for your top 5 best off seasons. As far as I was concerned, I'm Dom from Cleats Up Baseball. Like I said, go ahead, smash that like button, give us a subscribe, follow along, look out for the first podcast episode that's coming out soon. Hopefully in a couple weeks, we'll be able to see how wrong I was about this list, and you guys can all come back and roast me in the comments. That'll be a lot of fun. But like I said, that's it for today. Thanks for hanging out.